Bayer Leverkusen are doing the impossible, with them surprisingly competing for the treble this season. As of right now, they've already secured the Bundesliga title, dethroning Bayern Munich's dominance. They're also in the final of the DFB-Pokal Cup, and they also have a very good chance at winning the Europa League as well. But what makes this treble even more impressive is that Bayer Leverkusen can accomplish this while being undefeated the entire season. And one of the main reasons why Leverkusen hasn't lost yet is because they love scoring last-minute goals. So how many last-minute goals have Leverkusen scored so far, you may ask? Well, let's take a look. But real quick before we get on with the video though, please remember to subscribe to the channel. We're actually really close to 100,000 subscribers, so I would just really appreciate it if y'all could subscribe, since it's free after all. So if you want to, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Back to topic. Starting off on match day 4 of the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen had the tough task of playing Bayern Munich. Xabi Alonso's side started off hot though, with them securing 3 wins from the first 3 games, defeating RB Leipzig 3-2, Mönchengladbach 3-0 away from home, and winning 5-1 against Darmstadt. So Leverkusen were heading into the game against Bayern in good form, but it still would be a tough task for Leverkusen to go against Bayern, since after all, they've won the Bundesliga for the past 11 seasons. And it didn't start off hot for Leverkusen either, with new stars signing for Bayern Munich, Harry Kane, scoring in the 7th minute. But one of Leverkusen's top signings this past summer, Grimaldo, scored a free kick in the 24th minute to equalize. Sadly for Leverkusen though, despite playing well, Goretzka would catch the Leverkusen defense lacking in the 86th minute and scored a late goal to put his side up 2-1. But the story of this game doesn't end here, because in injury time, Alphonso Davies fouls Hoffman inside the box, and the Argentine midfielder Palacios, one of the highest rated players for Leverkusen this season, steps up and scores in the 90+4th minute to finish off the game dramatically 2-2. After this game, every football fan knew that Bayern Leverkusen were going to be a real threat this season, and they have been, because they've been gliding by some of their opponents in the Bundesliga after this. Some of these results including defeating Mainz 3-0 away from home, beating Köln 3-0 after that, and then getting by Hoffenheim away from home 3-2. However, in the Europa League, Bayer Leverkusen would come across their first hurdle, Karabakh FK, a club that would also give Leverkusen more trouble later on. Now, Leverkusen smoked Karabakh 5-1 in the first group stage game against them, but when they went away to Azerbaijan, they were finding trouble coming away with the win. But then, in injury time, Bayer Leverkusen were awarded a penalty in the dying moments for a handball decision, and the new man up top this season, Victor Boniface, tucks it away comfortably to give Leverkusen a 1-0 win away from home. Another late goal from Leverkusen, and another goal for Victor Boniface, who's had an incredible season this year, not gonna lie. Nigeria could have really used him in the AFCON final, because wow were they poor against Ivory Coast. Anyways, moving on to a couple months later in January 2024, Leverkusen had to play Augsburg away from home. At this time, Leverkusen were clearly in the running for the title, so Augsburg knew that they had to play with their hearts out, and that's what they did, because they defended valiantly throughout the match. But at the end, Grimaldo, who is also having one hell of a season, drops a dime of a pass into Palacios, who slams it into the back of the net in the 90+4th minute once again. Bro, out of the 3 last-minute goals that Leverkusen scored so far this season, all of them have been in the 90+4th minute. Nah, man, these guys must have sold their soul. There is no way this is just a coincidence, bro. Xabi Alonso's practicing the dark arts in secret or some shit.
I've come to bargain.
Anyways, I can't confirm that there won't be another 90+4th minute goal from here on, but there is definitely way more injury time goals for Bayer Leverkusen, so we gotta keep it pushing. Now fast forward a week from the Augsburg win, Leverkusen had to play RB Leipzig away from home, and it didn't start off too great. RB Leipzig were dominating the chances early doors, and eventually in the 7th minute, it paid off, thanks to a masterclass solo goal from the Dutch wonder kid, Xavi Simons, who put his side up front. However, in the second half, new signing Nathan Tella would bring a goal back for his side to equalize in the game. Sadly for him though, less than 10 minutes later, new Leipzig striker Luis Openda feasts off a counterattack and scores a goal to put a dent on the hopes of an unbeaten season for Leverkusen. The hope isn't all lost yet, because Jonathan Tah jumps up higher than the rest off a corner kick 7 minutes later and equalizes once again for Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen really doesn't know how to give up, huh? The thing is though, Leverkusen were still in a title race against Bayern Munich at this time, and not winning would be a huge drop in points. But the Ecuadorian center back Hincapie saves the day, because in the 90+1st minute, he capitalizes off a corner kick to help Leverkusen defeat RB Leipzig away from home 3-2. What a huge win this was for Xabi Alonso and his men. The next comeback after this though would be in the DFB-Pokal Cup quarterfinals, where Leverkusen had the tough task of playing Stuttgart, who also this season have been exceptional, with the German club actually qualifying for next year's Champions League campaign. So congrats to them. Additionally in this game, Stuttgart got off on the right foot, with Anton scoring in the 11th minute to put his side up 1-0 away from home. Leverkusen were never gonna back down without a fight though, and midfielder Onrich scored an absolute golazo to get his team back in the match. bench. 8 minutes later though, Stuttgart would regain their lead, thanks to a great strike from Fulrich in the 58th minute. But Leverkusen this season just love having comebacks, because in the 66th minute, the young Moroccan star boy Adli comes off the bench and scores almost right away from a one-on-one situation. And now finally, for what y'all been waiting for, in the 90th minute, the German superstar Florian Wirtz delivers a beautiful cross, where the towering defender Jean Tata gets his head on the ball once again and scores the goal to send his side through to the DFB-Pokal Cup semi-finals. Another comeback win for Leverkusen. This is nothing new. From here on in the Bundesliga, Leverkusen will continue to glide by their opponents with almost no problem, like beating Wolfsburg 2-0 at home, 2-0 against Köln away from home, and even beating Bayern Munich 3-0 to get a huge lead at the top of the table for the Bundesliga title. However, even though Leverkusen was doing well in the Bundesliga, they would have a ton of trouble in the Europa League once again, and against an opponent they were already familiar with, Karabag FK. Told y'all they were gonna make a comeback in this story. Anyways, in this round of 16 clash, it was looking really bad for Leverkusen, because in the 26th minute, Benzia from Karabag pounces off a counterattack and scores to put his side up 1-0. And then right before halftime, the Brazilian Juninho goes on an incredible solo run and scores against Leverkusen to put his side up 2-0 before the second half. At this moment, many football fans, including myself, thought that Leverkusen was gonna suffer their first loss of the season. But Xabi Alonso's men just don't know how to give up. Basically, in the second half, Leverkusen started to come alive, and in the 70th minute, Florian Wirtz got on the scoreboard from a Karabag mistake and chips the keeper, bringing the match back by 1. Even then though, Leverkusen were on the face of defeat despite getting decent chances. However, the Czech striker, Patrik Schick, came up clutch for his side when they needed him most, scoring a header from an Andrich cross to tie up the game in the 90+2nd minute. Unbelievable, man. But this wouldn't be the only time that they would need a last-minute goal against Karabag, because they needed exactly that in the second leg at home. You see, Karabag would get another 2-goal advantage in the match, with Zubir scoring in the 58th minute and Juninho again scoring in the 67th minute. So with around 20 minutes left, Leverkusen would need 2 goals to draw and 3 goals to qualify for the quarterfinals. It kind of seemed like an impossible task, but never losing, see what I did there? Leverkusen to never losing? Okay, never mind, I'll shut up. Anyways, like I was saying, Bayer Leverkusen never gave up, and Jeremy Frimpong, one of my favorite players on Leverkusen right now, brought hope back to his club with his goal in the 72nd minute thanks to a great cross from Grimaldo. But now, 90 minutes have passed, and Leverkusen are on the verge of going out of the Europa League. But the man who saved his side in the last game, Patrik Schick, saved his club once more, scoring in the 90+3rd minute thanks to the Karabag defense leaving him wide open in the box. And with this goal, the game was equalized, so we're going ahead to extra time. Psych! There was no extra time, because Schick clutches up 4 minutes later and in the 90+7th minute scored once more to send Leverkusen through to the Europa League quarterfinals. Nah man, you cannot convince me that these guys did not make a deal with the devil, because just how? But guess what? We're still not done with the last minute goals, man. We've got plenty more to go. But before that, Leverkusen destroyed Werder Bremen 5-0 at home, and this win meant that Leverkusen would win the Bundesliga title for the first time in their history, and at the same time, ending Bayern Munich's stranglehold of the league. An incredible achievement by Xabi Alonso and his players. This moment of football history will never be forgotten. But the reason why I'm mentioning this part is because mentally, trying to remain undefeated while already securing the title is not an easy thing to do. But so far, at the time you're recording this, Leverkusen have somehow done everything in their power to avoid a loss and continue scoring last minute goals. And actually, this starts with the Europa League quarterfinal second leg game against West Ham away from home. Mikel Antonio scored in the 13th minute for his club, and now for most of the game, West Ham had this lead secured. Now even if West Ham went on to win 1-0, Leverkusen would go through to the semis since they beat West Ham in the first leg 2-0, but their undefeated streak would technically be gone. But my boy Jeremy Frimpong refused to let this happen, and in the 89th minute, Frimpong would shoot from the edge of the box, and thanks to a deflection, the ball went into the back of the net, securing a late equalizer in the match, avoiding a defeat. Now I know the 89th minute isn't an injury time goal, but come on bruh, it's still late as hell. However, in the game that followed this one, it looked like Leverkusen were going to lose their undefeated streak away to Dortmund. Now it was 0-0 throughout the game, but in the 81st minute, Dortmund striker Füllkrug would smash an incredible volley to put his team up late in the match. At this moment, I was seeing tweets from multiple people saying that the Leverkusen undefeated streak was going to end right here and now. But Leverkusen had other plans, because the Bayern Munich loanee, Stanisic, gets his head on an incredible corner kick from Florian Wirtz and equalizes late in the match for Leverkusen to keep their undefeated streak alive. Leverkusen always finds a way, bruh. It's crazy. They would also do something similar in the following week against Stuttgart. This time it was even scarier though, because Stuttgart were the better team, and with Furuc's goal in the 47th minute and Undov's goal in the 57th minute, Stuttgart were up 2-0 with 30 minutes to go. But of course, Leverkusen does not know how to give up, because Ali scored in the 61st minute to bring the match within 1, and in the 90+6 minute, the last kick of the game, Florian Wirtz drops a dime into the box. box, where the ball would find midfielder Andrich, who smashed it in to secure a 2-2 draw for Bayer Leverkusen. Now there is a debate whether this goal should have counted or not, because Boniface might have fouled during the play, and the ball might have hit off Nkapie's arm, but hey, I'm trying to see some history being made. So Leverkusen getting this goal is no problemo for me. I love this story, man, what can I say? Not only that, I find it fitting how Bayer Leverkusen brought a new meaning to their nickname, Leverkusen. Basically, back in 2002, Leverkusen were in a similar situation as they are now, fighting for the treble. The real treble too, if y'all were wondering, which includes the league title, the Champions League, and a domestic cup. However, back then, Leverkusen fumbled everything, because in the last few games of the Bundesliga campaign, Leverkusen were well on their way to winning the league. But in the 3 out of the 4 final games, they drew to Hamburg 1-1, lost to Werder Bremen at home 2-1, and lost away from home to Nuremberg 1-0, proceeding to lose the Bundesliga title by 1 point. Then over to the DFB-Pokal Cup final, Leverkusen were tasked with facing Schalke to secure some domestic silverware, but instead, they were well beaten 4-2 on the night. No worries though, they still had the Champions League trophy that they could win, and this could salvage their season. But Leverkusen had to face an amazing Real Madrid side, and despite Lucio scoring a goal for the German club, Leverkusen lost 2-1 in the final due to an early goal by Raul and a beautiful volley from the one and only Zinedine Zidane. So at the end, Leverkusen had the opportunity to win 3 trophies, and they came back with 0, which is why they got the nickname Leverkusen, for never winning a trophy. However, now in the 23-24 campaign, the nickname has a new meaning, and not gonna lie, I like it. And honestly, I hope Leverkusen go unbeaten just so they can rewrite that dark part of their history and accomplish one of the biggest achievements the sport has ever seen, an unbeaten treble. Wow, that really would be beautiful. But I won't be fooled. Leverkusen, I know y'all made a deal with the devil, bruh. Y'all can't fool me. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on Bayer Leverkusen this season? Do y'all think they can win the treble undefeated? Let me know down in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel. We're close to 100,000 subscribers, so I'll just really appreciate it. And please be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are in my YouTube description. Last but not least, if you want to learn about how Kai Havertz turned his career around at Arsenal, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.